There we go. Yay! Ta-da! It's been a day. Okay, so we're getting set up. Okay, so getting everybody set up. There we go. Hello. How's everybody doing? So I didn't quite get as much done because I had some other things I had to get taken care of, but you can see this is actually coming along really nicely. This is the one that I'm probably going to spend the most craftiness on, and at the same point in time, I am terrified to mess it up because what I want to do on here is I really want to use certain techniques that I've never used before. So there's always, there's always that chance. But I got the backgrounds penciled in exceedingly lightly on these. So I don't know if I'm going to get to paint today, but I am doing a lot of like the filling in of the background and whatnot. Oh, goodness, sorry. I get too concentrated. Let's see. I should know this because this is French, but it has been a hot minute. You know what? I'm going to call you Splendide for short. Hello! How you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're just getting started. I'm penciling in the backgrounds ever so lightly because I'm going to do micron on it. And then probably in a slightly later cast, meaning, yeah, it's French, and it's been so long since I have spoken French that I'm like, I'm gonna murder, I'm gonna murder how it should be pronounced. Oh, thank you so much. This is what I'm working on. They're all part of a series for a Monster Made Cafe comic that I'm really looking to put together. And it goes in. This is actually one of our central characters. But yeah. Oh my goodness, Zorro. Oh, I can definitely slate that. I grew up with Zorro. My parents love to show me old school TV, and yeah, I watched a lot of Zorro, a lot of the Munsters, the Three Stooges, the Rifleman, like a bunch of old like westerns, that kind of stuff growing up. So yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. And yeah, I can definitely work on drawing Zorro on a slightly later cast because I got this right in front of me. But yeah, oh my goodness, yes. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, I do know One Piece. I have not watched One Piece, but it is prolific, and I am a giant nerd, so I absolutely know One Piece. Who's your favorite character? I'm going to switch over to my Micron right now and start lightly filling in the backgrounds. Oh, you mean that Zorro? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, I can do that. Oh, thank you. I try to be. I honestly try to be. Even when I'm talking about heavy subjects, I try and like not get too aggro about it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So okay. So when you said Zorro, I was thinking Zorro like with the black mask, the hat, the cape, the sword and everything. But yes, I do also know the other Zorro that you're talking about from One Piece. Yeah, triple sword, right? If I'm not like highly mistaken. Because again, I know a good amount of the names, but sometimes I switch names up just a little bit, which is not great. Okay, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I always thought that was a very interesting character because not only does he carry the two here, he also carries the blade in his mouth, which I'm like, that is both ridiculous and hilarious and kind of fun, and you don't often see a character go to that extreme. But I mean, they're pirates, so it makes sense that it's going to be fun and weird and over the top. And yeah, actually, a good number of pirates would carry something in the mouth, like usually a much shorter blade, like a dagger or something, just in case they needed it to cut through stuff. But anyway, things, stuff, yes. Yes, I know who you mean. Yes. So currently, I'm filling in the background for Vlad. And Vlad is Laika's paramour. And they are just a wonderful couple. And honestly, I had so much fun coming up with this character because Vlad and Laika, these two, um, were the first two characters I came up with years ago. Like, I think 3 or 4 years ago now at this point. And it was because my friend bludgeoned me into doing the Drawloween challenge. I'm like, I don't know how to come up with a new idea every day. She's like, you're overthinking it. So, like, thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That makes me like ridiculously happy because I get into my own head and sometimes I forget like I got to be out there on social media. So it honestly it helps me when other people share me on social media. It reminds me to share on my own social media, but also it helps. So yay! Hey Granny, how you doing, dear? So yeah, so when my friend said, "Hey, you really need to do the Drawloween challenge," um, and I was like, I don't know how to make a new thought process idea sketch every day. She's like, Well, one of the easiest ways to do it is creating a character, um, or a group of characters, and just that way you have, something preset, ready to go. You have a thought process. You build a whole story arc around them in your own head, and then you make artwork around that, and it just makes it easier for you to do. It's like, okay, I guess I could do that. So I created Vlad and Laika. Vlad, the vampire, and Laika, the werewolf, because, lycanthropy. I am that kind of dork. I do tongue-in-cheek jokes all the time. This is me. Welcome to it. But yeah, I was like, well, okay, let's do this fun little, fun little couple, and because usually you see vampires and werewolves at opposite ends. Oh, they're always fighting. And instead, these are like, they're kids. They grew up together. They grew up in a monster society that has blended with the human world, and not everybody always gets along, but you've got to make a go of it. So yeah, I had a lot of fun kind of coming up with ideas just for artwork and stuff for them, and then I was like, I really want to do more with this, and I think I'm gonna do like a comic book or something. I was like, I don't know, maybe not, and it, I'm headed that way. I'm definitely headed that way, and I'm sorry, I get so excited when I talk about them because, so Vlad is intersex. They identify just as themselves. There's nothing more to it. They have, both sets of chromosomes. Therefore, sometimes comes off a little bit more feminine, or sometimes a little bit more masculine, depends on the day. But they are who they are, and they're very secure in that. And Laika was one of their first friends in monster school, and they became best friends. Went to school. I have this entire storyline developed, and I need to start writing it down so I can block it out appropriately, so I can have like a good story going forward. But yeah, I love the characters that I make because they are wildly different, and they have deep, rich backgrounds and histories, and like so much of it is an allegory for a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. Gonna have to look. Okay, so what's the meaning of your name? Because why look it up when I could actually just ask? What is the meaning of your name? I'm sketching in the backgrounds really, really lightly because I don't want them to be overly cluttered or take away from the forward scene. So yeah, so Vlad is a host at Stardust, which is going to be the name of the cafe that both he and Laika work at. Are you leaving me? Is that how that goes? Tiny dog. Tiny roommate's dog who comes and goes as they please. So yeah, Stardust Cafe is a monster cafe, but it's a monster cafe that caters to human and monster clients. It's basically neutral ground. So anybody who goes into Stardust knows from the get-go, hey, this is a very neutral place. You can be human, you can be demi, you can be monster, spirit, doesn't matter. You come in, it's just to have a good time, to eat some good food, to have good company, and, try not to do anything untoward, because it won't sit well, and it won't, yeah, you won't be coming back. So yeah, I walk the line between fun and dark. Because, hey, nuance. So, I'm using, it's called an extra small. So I'm guessing this is like a 0.01 micron. And I'm trying to keep the lines really, really, really light. Because they don't need to be super heavy or noticeable. Hey, Curly Bounce, how you doing? So there's Grammy Norma, there is Les Coups, Plein, Les Coups, Splendide. Oh man, I'm gonna have to break that apart into words. I'm gonna practice that. It's a point of pride that I'd be able to pronounce people's names. Let's see. How's everybody doing today? Oh, and for those of you who don't know, I actually have an anonymous donor who said that they would match the first $100 worth of donations that I get for my new computer until the end of the month. So if you donate $1, they'll donate $1. And so far, I've had a couple of people who have donated to me anonymously off the books. To get me towards getting a new computer because I love my laptop. I really, really do. But I've had it for a number of years, and if you know anything about laptops, they're really hard to upgrade. Their parts aren't easily interchangeable or replaceable, and the technology that I have here is wonderful, but it's not able to upgrade or keep up with the updates and a lot of stuff. So it makes me sad, but I have to get a new computer, and I am looking to get a desktop this time around. And it'll definitely be a gaming desktop. So yeah, you guys will be able to see me do a little bit more gaming, but also you'll get to see more work with art. Because I am enjoying the daylights out of doing art, what can I say? Sorry if I have my head down for a bit and you have a question, feel free to ask. I will hit you up in just a moment. So let me get you up close on what is going on. As you see, I'm filling in just very, very light background. It'll also be very lightly painted. You're not going to see like a bunch of definition because I don't want to take away from what's going on here. But yes, with Vlad being the wonderful host that he is, or I'm sorry, they are. He, him, they, them pronouns. But yeah, this is also the other reason I'm doing this kind of artwork with this variety of characters is because I really, 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 really want to get practice being able to switch between pronouns without tripping over myself. And hey, we live in an interesting new world that honestly, when I was growing up, I did not know existed. And it's been in like the last 15 years that like there's been gains and there's like been momentum, and only in like the last 5 years that I've really seen it like start to really skyrocket forward. So I'm like, okay, I gotta mainstream. I gotta get in with this because I belong to that community. But like I went from thinking that my community was this big, my community is now like this big. It's like, okay, I gotta do the thing. Let's do the thing. So one of the best ways to do the thing is to make art, to make a conscious effort to uh, to get in there and really do it. If anybody has any questions, do feel free to ask. Sorry, phone goes off every now and then. Okay, just tell me I'm live everywhere. Oh, okay. So there's the background. So yeah, I keep starting with. So yeah, he's a host, and like most of my hosts have specialty gifts, like something that they're really good at, dishes that they like to make, or that they're good at creating. And him being a host, he doesn't necessarily cook. He doesn't make teas or anything like that. But he's really good at like entertaining, schmoozing, and being genuinely uplifting to the customers. So, if somebody comes in there to have a good time and just, relax away the day and feel good about themselves, Vlad is right there with encouragement and good words and, hey, how you doing? Gorgeous and lovely and just, I love what you're wearing. Your dress is gorgeous, and honestly, the pearls just absolutely complement your eyes. I'm so glad you came in today. Why don't you sit for a while? What can we get you? That's the kind of person Vlad is. So, yeah. I love Vlad. So, yeah. If anybody ever has any questions, by all means, feel free to ask them. You'll get an answer one way or another. We go from there. So yeah, there you see just lightly penciled or lightly micron in the background. And that way there is something to help give me a guideline as far as, painting, but also gives, a nice light impression of, yeah, there is something behind it. They're not just standing there. Oh. Oh my goodness. Wow. I did not hear about. I've heard that there are BLM protests going on around the world, which is just amazing. I did not know that they threw a historical statue into the river. Wow. Although I will tell you, here in America, it's been a little dodgy. Most of the protests have been very, very peaceful. Unfortunately, police have been. But yes, there have been statues, Confederate statues, being taken down. Like, we're talking dead of the night, just removed. Some of them were pulled down. Others were removed by the towns and cities because they recognize that these are they're stupid. And that they need to be removed because they serve no purpose. And if they're going to go anywhere, they're going to go to a museum. But most of them were made from like cheap brass, and they're hollow. And they were put up years, if not almost a century sometimes, after the Civil War. And they were put up to intimidate. And so now they're being taken down, possibly moved to museums. Others just are going to get, which I'm totally okay with. And they rolled it through the oh my god, are you kidding? So they rolled it through the town and into the river. Wow. Okay, that... I absolutely adore Europeans sometimes. Okay, I adore people all around the world, but certain places take it to like a whole nother level when it comes to getting a point across. They're like, oh my god, yes. Like, I rarely applaud destruction of property, but there are times when if people aren't listening, well, you gotta turn up the volume, and sometimes you really have to turn up the volume. But yeah, I'm always amazed by what certain groups or people will do in the name of justice. I'm like, Iceland. It's Iceland or Greenland? Both those places, actually. But I believe it's Iceland. They were having issues with workers not being paid enough, like minimum wage, entry-level jobs, essential workers not being paid enough. This is back towards the turn of the century. So they took a week off. They went, yeah, can you pay us enough so we can live? And most of the government, a lot of the businesses, large businesses, they were like, eh. I'm like, oh, that's how you want to play. And literally all the essential workers just went, I can't make it in. I am so sick. Or straight up went, you're not paying me enough to come in, so nope. And their workforce took a week. And stuff started piling up. And yeah, you lose half your workforce or more. Oh, that is not good. That'll shut you down hard. So yeah, it didn't take them too long to get the changes they wanted because so much of the major workforce, the essential workforce, sanitation, janitorial, delivery, restaurants, wait staff, all that kind of, you have all these people at the bottom who are making sure that society keeps running, actually running. And they're gone? Oh yeah, no. Oh no, no. Whoa. Just into oblivion. And they, the higher ups collectively crapped themselves and went, oh, we should probably pay you more. Yeah. Will you come back to work now? And they're like, we'll think about it. And so yeah, they finally came back, but it was a major show of, hey, you don't think you need us? Okay, go ahead and function without us then. And a little bit later on, women were having that same issue, getting leave for like maternity, just being paid equally as their male counterparts. And so they took a day, literally just took a day, and the entire country almost collapsed in a day, because mothers, stay-at-home parents, whatnot, they just went, yeah, we're off, and they like literally took off for the day. And so husbands and fathers were left at home with the children. So many of the school teachers were gone that there was no school to send them to. Freaking half the staff for hospitals gone. We're talking nurses. We're talking some of the doctors. Just so many of the jobs, technicians, that the women filled, that like literally doctors were having to do all the work that the nurses normally do and cover what the technicians would normally do, and just like they had their workload like tripled because of how much work their female staff, or the women's staff, were doing. Just they almost collapsed in a day because now just the men were responsible, and a lot of them did not know how that shit worked. Oh my god, my favorite one is the bank managers. So a lot of the bank managers were male, but a lot of the bank tellers were female, or women. And yeah, the women's staff, they walked out, and the male bank managers didn't know how to exchange money, do withdrawals, do deposits. They didn't know anything of what the tellers did. So they had to close the banks practically because they had no clue what they were doing. And so yeah, the legislation changed so quickly because of that. So literally, sometimes when a large group of people are asking politely for something, that's actually the best time to like take a look at it, talk it over, change legislation where you need to change legislation. And if you don't do that, well, they're going to start talking louder and louder, and if that doesn't work, they will take action. And when they take action, you'll figure out that, oh yeah, this is not good. we can't function without them, or they can make it really hard for us to function at all. So yeah, I love it when the people get together to collectively tell the upper echelons, hey, we have a problem, and you can either fix it or we can make your life very, very difficult. Pick one. Just saying. Kind of like with the whole pandemic going on still. Essential workers. Like, when we first went on, like, hard lockdown, they didn't know how essential these essential workers were. Honestly, I think if we had just taken a strike for about a week, it would have been scary as hell. I understand that. But I think we would have got a lot of legislation passed much more quickly I think we are too. They've made us scared to put our foot down, because they will threaten our housing. They will threaten our medical. They will threaten us, the worker, the people, and they have us scared enough that it gets really hard to coordinate and organize and get people all on the same page. So, so, oh, let me see. I'm going back. I just realized I have had a couple of new follows. So, Juliza, hopefully I pronounced that right. Juliza is one of our new followers. Hockey fan 121. Hello, hockey fan. I actually know something about hockey. Hockey's cool. Soul Ninja 77. Les Cool Splendide. JP. JP. Yeah, she sort of pronounced that right. Not totally, but sort of. I'm going to keep working on that one. And Dynasty Kill. So, hello! Welcome to the page. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find all over social media. Some of my social media is a little bit more serious. Some of my social media just shows you all the different food and art and crafty creativeness that I'm doing. Badger me. I'm giving you all of you, I'm giving you permission to badger me into doing more blogs and doing more recipes and like being more vocal, so y'all know what's going on in my life. I I'm actually an introvert. Technically I'm an ambivert. So you get me in the right situations. As you see, I'm very gregarious. I talk a lot, and I get going, and you can't stop me. And oh, trust me, I can be like my friend's hype man for like all their different projects. I'm like, yeah, you're doing the thing. Here, doing the thing. People, see the thing. And then it comes to me, and I'm like, I have a thing. Oh, okay, no big. I do that. I understand. I shouldn't, but yeah, I do that. But yeah. So yes, as a whole, as a working class, we should be working together. Because honestly, we get so much stuff done. Sorry, I also had to let my pen recharge just a little bit. Also, when I get my new computer, we can actually start playing music again. Which I wish I could have a lot of different things running so that you guys could hear music going on in the background and whatnot. I love some good music, what can I say? So this is Leica. Leica is one of my favorite characters. Again, she was one of the first ones I came up with. But yeah, she's so different when she's human versus when she is werewolf, because she feels more comfortable in different ways in those different forms. But for the most part, she spends a majority of her time in her more werewolf form, wearing frilly dresses and cutesy things, because hey, that's what's comfortable for her. And yeah, she is Vlad's paramour. And I like the progression of Laika as a character, because in a lot of ways Laika is actually based off of me. So when you if you I think I need to like go back and do like an actual comic book story arc, or comic strip I should say, where you guys can kind of see uh, the beginnings of Vlad and Laika, and also see the progression of Laika. Because I love her to bits and pieces. She is my favorite in many ways. Yeah, she is, as a child, very rambunctious. She has a lot of energy and a lot of things going on, and like zero, zero chill, zero quit. Um, and that was honestly, that was definitely me as a kid. Um, but I mean, she also had a lot of hardships going on, because of, you know, what she was. Being being a werewolf can be very different, than being a lot of other different kinds of monsters. A lot of monsters, you always know, hey, you're a monster, you're a vampire, or you're a harpy, or you're a lamia. There's, no ways to cover up certain things. But, a werewolf in human form looks human. Um, so she, getting treated one way when you pass as one thing is very different than if you are are pegged as something else. So I mean, it's kind of like, well, let's talk about it. It's kind of like people who are what we call white passing, where you are of mixed backgrounds. So, like, say you are um, white and Latino, Latinx, um, but like you got the genetic lottery that moved you towards looking very European white. The way you will get treated if you look white is vastly different, than how you're going to get treated if you are perceived to be, say, Mexican or South American. Um, and it's not just the darker skin tones; it's also, like the facial features and all that kind of stuff, because we are pushed rather heavily towards a certain standard of beauty. We're told, hey, you need to be this or that, this or that. Oh God, that was horrible. What with that? Yeah. Oh, that tastes like medicine. Like watered down medicine. Not good. Sorry. But yeah, so yeah, there's so many different things that I want to explore when making these comics, because not only are they fun and light, and when things are kind of a little bit fun and lighter, it's easier to digest them because you're not automatically going on a defensive. But I mean, it's my comic is going to have moments where it's going to be very dark. I already know this, and other times where it's going to be very light, and that's exactly what I want, because life is rarely just one note. You know, there's got to be some up and down. There has to be progression, or there has to be some different stuff that goes on, or else you never really progress forward as a person. So, yeah, I'm not speaking from experience at all. uh, do, do, do. Looks like one of my friends actually posted up at least an article about that statue getting rolled, which again tickles me to like no end on so many levels. Awesome. Okay, somebody linked me the clip. I cannot wait to watch that, honestly. Again, I love it when people take stance and are not afraid to be loud or really go full tilt on getting their point across. Like, it's so hard to take down a statue. Okay, that is no easy feat. But to take down a statue, roll it through town, and like push it into a river. Just, I'm sorry. I'm giggling because, like, it is actually pretty insanely hard, or at least costly, to retrieve a large, heavy object from a river. You'd need a crane for that kind of crap. You need a strong crane. And if there is soft silt at the bottom of that river in any way, shape, or form, anything heavy plows into that silt, and that silt can create so much suction and make it so much more difficult to get it out. Like, it's freaking brilliant. Oh, I love you guys so much. You have no idea. Okay, so. And again, I'm just doing really, really, really light micron because I want it to. How did you see that there? I want it to show up and give me a place to paint, but I don't want it to be so heavy that it takes away from what is being drawn. And oh, you know what? I think I have my portfolio around here somewhere. I will grab that in a little bit, and I will show you some of the other monsters in the Maid Cafe. So Leica's specialty is actually full tea service. So she does everything from the pots of jam, the creams, all that kind of good stuff. Lumps of sugar. yeah, she does the full tea service. Oh man, suddenly want to make lemon curd. Got some great recipes actually for quick curds. And like I didn't ever know that I was gonna like lemon curd, but oh my goodness. Oh, it's like it's so refreshing and wonderful. Honestly, one of my favorite derivations of a lemon curd was oh god, what was it? There was vanilla and basil and mint um, steeped into the lemon curd, and it was so interesting, but it was so good. Like you had that zip, that zing of the lemon, but you also had just the notes of basil, a little bit of that mint in there as well to kind of perk up the flavor. It wasn't like, ooh, I could taste mint. It was a very, very light mint that just kind of added notes, and then the vanilla bean kind of just calmed it down just a little. Because I think without the vanilla, it would have been a little bit okay. This a little over the top, so it needs to cool down. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Leica's background is actually much easier in many ways for my brain. But yeah, I'll probably paint those. Let's put a tentative on me being on tomorrow morning and getting some artwork done. Probably roughly 10 o'clock or so is when I'll most likely be on. I'm going to take a quick bio break. I'm going to be right back. If you have questions, feel free to ask questions. If you have comments, by all means, feel free to have comments. If you'd like to see me work on stuff, like leave a comment, especially leave a comment on my other social medias, because that'll be like so much easier for me to remember. Or you can also send me a whisper. If you send a whisper, it makes it really easy for me to remember where it is, because hey, it's on Twitch. Boom, it's right there. So I'm gonna go take a quick bio break. I will be right back. I'm back. Yeah, I know, it was so fast. There we go. Okay, so I was able to find my my art book. So this beautiful little Cyclopean maid is she's I think she was one of the first maids that I did, and she actually has depth perception issues because single eye. But yes, she is angelic. Those little wings are angelic. A hint at angelic, because if you know anything about the angels of well, pick a book, their original description was like way different than what we've shown them as. So yeah, I love putting like little fun hints and tongue-in-cheek stuff in. But yes, so she does an art form of treats called wagashi, and it's basically making beautiful designs or making little candies, little treats that look like other things, but when you bite into them, there's like different kinds of my body wants them so bad right now. Like different kinds of paste, like lotus seed or red bean or yam or pumpkin. All of them just very lightly sweet, and it's usually covered in like mochi, so like a thin rice dough that is just so good. I honestly miss these so much because right now I think Little Tokyo is not exactly open. I'm so tempted to order some, but I'm holding out for the moment. But they also do these beautiful, I almost want to call them jello molds, but they're not like jello, they're a little bit firmer. They're gelatins with, I think it's usually made with an agar powder. And they can like create different scenes and stuff, so they will make like little fish swimming through and make it look like rocks along the bottom. And it's just, they are gorgeous to look at. They take years to perfect the technique, and they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're wonderful. They're a lot of work, and that's why I gave them to her to do, because why not? And then here is another one, and they are non-binary and sapphic, and they are the latte artist. So yeah, not only a kitsune, but the latte artist, because they can conjure fire. And so they do all the latte work, all the hot drinks, all that kind of stuff, and also sometimes serve as a butler or a host in the cafe. And yeah, I think honestly this is one of my favorite characters. Well, they're all my favorite characters, but one of my favorite characters that when I first designed, I'm like, yeah, I definitely have something going here. I need to continue forward with this and make it into a storyline and everything. It can't just be a piece of art, because this deserves a story. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Pictures. Yeah, like there's some artistry to making like food works. Like if you've stalked me long enough, or if you followed me long enough, you know that I do different things like I do jellos and flans and custards and cupcakes and pies, and there's all kind of different things because I love creating just something fun, but also something really gorgeous to look at, and explore different flavors and tastes, and just I love it. Almost right now I have an obsession with making chai, because I was taught a really awesome recipe and it works out beautifully, and it tastes better than any chai that I've had from an American source, to say the least. Oh yeah, there's my Sekibei. She might actually be earlier than the Cyclops. But yeah, she's the delivery girl. I love her to bits and pieces. Because, yeah, she's a succubus, but she's not a succubus in that traditional sense that, oh, I'm going to seduce everything. She's like the total opposite of it. She's actually asexual. Asexual, aromantic. So she's ace arrow. And yeah, she's like, yeah, I just like doing delivery work. And no, sir, I am not interested in anything else. Ooh, candy, cake, beautiful pies. Yeah, so I love her. She's a dork in my mind, and just bits and pieces. And then the Ruselki twins, and they are the managers. They are the owners, actually, of the Stardust Cafe. They make sure that everything is up and running, that they have all the necessary ingredients. Um, they actually do control pieces of land where they grow and harvest all of the ingredients for the cafe. And yes, they are a set of twins. They're brother and sister. And I, yes, I made her a mermaid because Ruselki are Russian, Scandinavian, Slovakian. There's different mythos in areas around Russia and in Russia. So I kind of took from that and went with it. Ruselki usually have red hair. They're usually like water spirits. They were also sometimes known to help with prosperity of the fields and orchards and that kind of stuff. But I was like, well, what kind of mermaid? Because it's a water spirit. What kind of mermaid would you be if you were in this area? And I'm like, sturgeon. So yeah, I'm a dork like this. And then Manager Medusa, which I love her because she's like the mama bear, mama bear mom friend of the cafe. She makes sure everything's running smoothly, and if there's any problems with customers, she's the one who takes care of them, and she does not mess around. Now, she doesn't turn them permanently into stone. That's a misnomer, but we can get into that more when I get into the comic book. Oh yeah, and then just a fun piece of art that I did for my art group. The prompt was Birds of Prey. So you could have done anything. You could have done DC. You could have done the movies. You could have done actual Birds of Prey. And I decided to take Birds of Prey across all of the DC universes. So comic book, the animated series, different ages of the comic book, animated series, the movies, the whole thing. So one of the original styles of Black Canary, I think this is like the 80s, 90s? 90s-ish look. Cassandra Cain, who takes over in the Bat family for a while, as a Bat girl for a while, and then upgrades, changes. Like, I so need to go back and just do a deep dive into all of it and inhale all that goodness. Harley Quinn from the movies, Huntress from I want to say this is the 2000s look. 2010s? After 2010s, I want to say. And then Montoya from the Batman the Animated Series, which was one of my favorite series when it came to kind of bridging that gap between really like, hey, this is meant for adult and this is meant for kids. I'm like, this was a really good adaptation, and they did a really good job with it. I am happy. I should probably at some point remove this tape and maybe even trim it down, because I think with the tape on it, I cannot. I don't think I can put it in. Let me see if I can remove the tape. That becomes the other question. But yes. So I'm trying to slowly take off this tape. So it's not like the tape has a lot of hold to begin with. Maybe I'll just gently work it off. Do, 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 do. And if anybody has seen The Birds of Prey, that was actually a really good movie. I was pretty darn pleased with how they pulled that off. I was worried for a bit that that in making this movie they were going to try and make it about the Joker and Harley Quinn, and luckily they didn't. They really focused on these characters as they should be, instead of trying to make it about same thing over and over and over again. Oh, thank you. I will probably put it up for sale at some point. And yes, I will ship international. I just have to find out what the international rates are. Looks like I'm going to have to cut along those sidelines. This is a very interesting picture to do. Do I have scissors? I don't think I have scissors here. Oh, nope. I do. I do. I'm going to go ahead and just trim this. The funny thing is there's actually details in here. I just don't know if y'all can pick up on. So yeah, like when you look at it, you think it's one thing, but if you get up close enough, you see that there are extra details. Trim it off. Okay. Yeah, quite a bit smaller now, but it fits right in. Ta-da! It is now part of this portfolio. I have a whole other portfolio, but I would have to go through and curate that first, because not everything I make is family friendly. Nothing is like, oh my god, I can't show it on Twitch, but yeah, some of it I would be like, There might be children watching it. I probably shouldn't show that one. So yeah. Anyways, I have to sign off for now because I have to get to work and do the thing because, you know, reasons. But yes, if anybody would like to donate, that would be amazing and awesome. For every dollar you donate, up to $100, I have a secret sponsor, an anonymous sponsor, who will match the first $100 worth of donations, going towards getting me a new computer. We're getting me a desktop. So it'll have a lot more power, a lot more zip, and you'll get a lot better content and streams from me because, hey, you'll actually be able to see all the different stuff that's going on and whatnot that I'm not able to do right now because my poor laptop is falling apart, and I have to show this to you because this will just tell you how much of a gamer I am. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, those little lines that you can see, ever so not gently blurred. There we go. Those lines are where the keys have cracked in half, and I literally had to. Sorry, it's funny, it's hilarious because yeah, this is just how janky. But yeah, I had to glue and resin the keys back together. So now this button, as you can see, is super wobbly at best because I've had to glue this on a couple of times. I've broken it several times now, and it's had to be put back together several times. So now it doesn't even respond when I press it half the time. So yeah, that's a little bit problematic. But yeah, so I have somebody helping me put together a new computer, a desktop that will be much better and fill in the needs. I'll still keep my gaming laptop for certain things, but a new desktop is definitely needed in order for me to progress forward with my art, with my content, and whatnot. So any donation you make is amazing. Even if it's $1, $1 could mean a huge difference at the end of it, honestly. So for every dollar you put in, the anonymous donor will match it up to the first 100. And $1, $2, $5, $10. Oh my God. Every little bit actually really, really helps, and it's all going towards this one thing that you see. And I'm also working, so I will be putting in some of my own money. It's not just that $1,000 I'm going for. I'm actually going for about double that maybe, to get just a whole new setup so everything is like more professional and you get better content. And because I love doing this and I love being here, and you guys are awesome, and your support, just sitting, chatting, talking, doing all this stuff means so much to me, and I really want to continue to give the best that I can possibly give to you guys. So thank you all so much. You guys are amazing on so many levels. I absolutely adore you. I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna have a good day. I'm gonna do my best to have a good day, and I hope you do your best to have a good day as well. Remember, always do your best to be kind, and if you can't be kind, walk away. And if you can't walk away, handle your shit. Anyways, love you all. Bye!